Join us on the Poetic Odyssey, a celebration of voices, cultures, and the power of words. I'm Amanda Eke. Welcome to The Poet Speaks, where every syllable ignites inspiration.
Year in Zimbabwe.
What stories are on these tracks?
This idea of the Bronx, now, boogie down Bronx, that's what people say, right?
Don't become someone's subway story.
Medicate me with a lick and a like. I am not afraid to love you.
All of us have a story.
Magnifying glass because you can't see otherwise.
No one wanted to listen.
Yeah.
So I think that's what made me a writer.
In writing, the writing just comes.
You ready? Amazing poetry awaits.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Poet Speaks podcast. Now, our next guest was born and raised in the Bronx, New York, originally started poetry in the 5th grade and did not get the courage to perform in front of an audience until about 20 years old. After her first performance, she knew the stage was her home. Everyone, welcome to the Poet Speaks podcast. Shay, the poet. Shay, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. So Shay, the poet, I also know in your Instagram bio, you're also known as, what is it, the Bronx poet?
The Bronx poet.
Where is your location currently in the world if people couldn't guess by now? Tell us where you currently
are. The Bronx, of course. You're not from the Bronx, and what is the purpose? What are we doing this for?
Absolutely.
But yes, I am from the Bronx.
So the boogie down Bronx. Tell us a bit about tell us a bit about just how New York has raised you to be the poet you are today. Tell us a bit about that
man. I love I born and raised in the Bronx, of course. Right on Tremont. Wonderful. Definitely just shaped a lot of the way I write, a lot of the way of which I story tell. You know, the Bronx is like the birthplace of hip hop. So it's definitely like created and molded a lot of my writing just into like this storytelling, this understanding that I've definitely created. So shout out to the Bronx.
Absolutely. So born, raised, bred, everything Bronx, correct?
Raised, bred.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about, I'm so intrigued by this idea that you have, you didn't actually start performing your poetry and you have a big following just on social media. Tell us, you didn't start performing poetry till you were 20 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us a little bit about how that kind of experience shaped. What made the wait so long for you?
I have no clue. I've always been a background kid, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not one to like, I guess now I am, but as a kid, I definitely did not always put myself out there. My school had a poetry team, but I was on the step team. High school, they did poetry performances like I go to KIP, so like they have KIP Summit, and they went and did poetry. Still wasn't feeling it. I actually like went through a really tough time in a relationship, and like I had found Maui the writer. Maui_ the writer. If anybody knows her, she has a huge following. She's amazing. Love her in real life. And I definitely was just like, oh my God, like I could write out my feelings, whatever. And then I went to a PWI, I went to Alfred State, and they had a Black History performance. And they were just like, hey, come up here, perform. Let's see what's up. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, I wrote something. I told myself I would sit down, I would memorize it, and I would go up there and I would perform. And like people cried. They thought it was phenomenal. And I was like, okay, this is a very interesting lane to jump into. So that was definitely my first performance at 20. But no stage fright, no fear. Wasn't like, oh my God, it was just like, okay, this is a cool hobby I could get into. And hobby quickly became passion.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Wow. Now tell us, how important do you think that is, maybe finding that passion in school? Because like you said, you're a teacher now. How important do you think that is for kids to kind of find that passion for writing at that younger age and seeing where they can go with it?
being in education, you get to see how like education is almost a lost thing at this point in kids' life. They're not reading at the level that they're supposed to. They're not writing at the level that they're supposed to. But I think that when we teach them that there's a way to express yourself and allowing people to hear you and understand you, they will be able to like find that love and compassion. And I wish that in more schools we were pushing more writing classes, writing prompts. I got to teach poetry for a year in my school, which was super fun, super cool. And you just get to hear, honestly, overall, just what the kids are feeling and what they're facing and what they're going through. So I do wish that more schools would accept and respect the curriculum of just writing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So do you share with your students your illustrious spoken word career? Like you share with them all the performances that you're doing?
Of course not. There are a couple of poems that I have that are not middle school appropriate. But we have social media kids now, so even if I don't tell them, they know. I have 6th, 7th, and 8th grades, and my 6th graders came in the other day and was like, "Hey, do you know that you have 12,000 followers on Instagram?" And I was like, "No." And they were like, "What?" And like, like willing to show me and everything. I tried to keep my poetry life and my school life a little separate. Because although I'd like to be a role model, I like to encourage, I still am a 26-year-old girl that just wants to live her regular, normal human life. But they are followers, and when I block them from following, their parents follow, and parents have been to my shows and seen me perform and asked me when I'm dropping my next poem and what can I do. So
yeah, I mean, so that must be pretty wild though, because it's that double life almost that you're living as kind of just your day job as being a teacher, and then you have this again like this illustrious career with a lot of support, a lot of success as a spoken word poet. I mean, those are such two worlds kind of colliding. Do you see yourself, and this kind of always becomes a question, do you see yourself taking your art and now just saying, I'm just gonna be full-time spoken word poet and not be, not be in education in the same capacity as a teacher?
I hope that my parents get to see this podcast because they would love for me to say, yes, I am going to quit my day job and focus on poetry full time, because schools will always be there and poetry may not. But for me, realistically, I don't see it happening. I've built so many bonds with parents, with kids. I've watched my first class graduate. Maybe this next class after they graduate. I'm a founding school, so my school's been around for 4 years. I've been there the whole 4 years that they've been there. And I definitely often think, no, I'm going to stay here for a long time. And then some days I think I can probably make more money and spend more time doing poetry and be more in control of my time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it definitely becomes such a which road do you go? I mean, it really could go either way, especially for someone like you at this point. Tell us a little bit about like you mentioned, social media kids. You have such a big larger social media following than a lot of poets tend to find themselves. I think a lot of poets, it's hard to get into that space of getting social media famous, right? How did you kind of garner all that kind of that type of buzz on social media? I think a lot of people struggle with that aspect of marketing.
If it makes them feel better, I struggle too. You as a poet should do the following, even though I do not have the following. You should do the following for sure. You should have merch. You should have a book. It is the best way to capitalize on like the following in the space that you have. I owe a big thanks to my following because I went viral twice. So people were just like, hey, we know that girl not once but twice. She's great. And I owe a lot of that to Voices Empower, the platform. If you don't know, it's amazing. It's a platform run by Luis Marrero, who founded it in Philly. And they have over, maybe 700,000 followers. Maybe that feels right, but I could be off in the numbers. They're phenomenal, they're supportive, and they also run a site in New York, and I run that site.
Wow.
So a lot of my following is me doing poetry, but also me hosting. So people like meet me. I am the first smiling face that they see. They want to follow, even if they don't follow anybody the whole night. They're like, "Oh my God, you're an amazing host. Like, we'd love to have you. We love you. We want to see you again. When are you hosting? I want to see you." So that also contributes to it.
Yo, but so that's huge. So you said two things I think are really relevant there. Having something to capitalize and market off of. So a book, a chat book, and then some sort of, you said merchandise?
Yeah, some sort of merchandise. It could be something little. It could be a shot glass with your Instagram on it. It could be a bag. I don't know if you know about Shataysha Byrd. Amazing, love her. And then one of her poems, she says, protect your love and your pH balance.
Yeah, facts.
And she, right, facts. And she has a bag. She's sold this bag across many of states. Many people have it. It's her poem. At the bottom, it says, at Shataysha Byrd. So, like, again, people stop you for stuff like that. Like, oh, girl, where from, or what's that from? And poetry is now a world that's opening up so much more things. Like, we have people like Brandon Leak out in the world who are creating our Netflix specials or our TV specials, just talking strictly about poetry. We have Black Chakra. We have people who are winning Grammys. Like, if there was ever a time for poetry, the time is now.
No, it's true. And it's one of those things. It's the those untold stories, especially in this political climate. I mean, there's so many people that really want to speak, et cetera, et cetera. No, that's such a good point. And I guess my question next for you would then be for people listening to this that are like, yo, I want to get on that merchandise kind of how do I capitalize? But where does one even begin to get the book going, to get the merchandise going? I think people think it's a financial burden. What connects do you need? What's your advice for that?
I love that, because I too am struggling, because I feel like, okay, I have this following. I have people who I know if I drop a book today, my mom would buy 50 copies on her own and sell them herself. Like, and I think that for you, as like, and I'm saying this for viewers, you have to look in yourself and figure out what is the actual start point for me and what's something that makes sense. And I also think that it's important that you surround yourself with people who are going to be on your butt about it, because it's easy to procrastinate when it's you.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, if I'm holding myself to a line, I can easily forget about the line. Like, it's like, there's no actual deadline. There's no whatever. But I always say, like, because I struggle with the book, because I have a book that I've sent to a publisher at least 5 times. And I go back and I read it and I'm like, I hate it. I hate it. And my mom has read it. I love it. My dad has read it. I love it. My friends have read it. I love it. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
Stop being so in your head. It is okay to say, like, the writer that I was 2 years ago is not the writer that I am now. It does not make the book any less. There's that. And I also think with like merchandise, start off small. Start small. A shot glass with your at on it. People drink. Like, you feel me? And they want to support you. Black Chakra once told me, like, before he actually made books, like actual books with like hardcovers and blah, 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 it was a little book that he printed in Staples, stapled together, and was selling for $5.
Facts. Yeah.
It was 3 poems. I wrote these. Here you are. 8 pages. Like, I think you just have to figure out before I understand, like, financially, especially in this climate in the world that we live in, your focus, like, oh my God, well, what is the right thing to do? How do I handle this? How do I handle that? But sometimes take a baby step. Take your favorite 3 poems, not the favorite 3 poems that you perform, but 3 poems that you know look great on paper, that you've read to other people and think is amazing. Print out those 3 things, staple them together, make 15 of them, take them to a show. Perform it, just be like, hey, I got these little paper copy books, they're only $5. Tell me what's up.
Yeah. No, that's such a good point. Having some sort of, not only hearing the word and hearing people in terms of marketing when you see them, TV screen, phone screen, but having something tangible, I think is so key. Like, having something people can actually take with them that is like your business. That's your like kind of, that's your gold mine. No, that's such a good point. You know, I was kind of talking to a friend just recently. So I live, let me not even say where I live, but but I remember going to places like New York City, which, you know, you're in. How much of it do you think is too, like you had mentioned, surrounding yourself with people that hold you accountable? It's one of those things, I think, to the environment, the city you're in. A city like New York City, you find hustlers like yourself every corner. I think it's difficult for the folks, maybe if you're an artist or writer, maybe I could be speaking, I'm just speaking out loud here. I think it's difficult, people that live, you know, middle of nowhere, you know, somewhere in a state that's not maybe as big as a New York City. How important, like you said, how important do you think the environment of who you keep around you is important to your success? Just from
I think that just to like, I love New York. I think New York is full of hustlers, but every hustler is not for you.
Wow.
Like this, like honestly, I've been on the poetry scene for now, I can almost say a full 6 years. And like I don't talk to everybody. Like I'll show my face and people, hey, you know, blah 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 blah. I have people who I love and adore, and I will come to any space in any environment to see them because I adore you. You're phenomenal. I don't feel that way about everybody, and I'm pretty sure everybody don't feel that way about me, and that's okay. I think that all the friends that you're making in the poetry environment, in the poetry space, you should make sure like this is intentional.
Yeah.
Like you should just make sure like, hey, like I know, because again, like I have a mentor who like I now have a bigger following than him, and he probably feels like I've blown up more than anything he could have dreamed of. But I still go back to him. Hey, what does look like? Like, and he loves me, and he makes sure, hey, Shay, I think you should do this, or no, I don't look right, or maybe you should move like this. Like, if it was me, I would. And I have Nick Austin, who lives in Philly. I have Soulful Poetry, who lives in Detroit, and he killed me with the phone calls because he always called me straight after work. I miss it. We play phone tag for 2 days, and then on that third day, we on the phone for 2 hours because he's like, yeah, I gotta catch up on this, and can I read you this, and can I do that? But like, I don't let distance be the things that stop you. The amazing thing about social media now is that we can see people. Like it's nothing to get on FaceTime, it's nothing to call, it's nothing, like we have that capability, but like being intentional with the people around you and being like, yo, like I see that you're pulling out shows. I see that you could pull out 5,000 people right now. Got you there. And you will for sure, especially in the poetry scene, you will realize the people who are for you and who are not.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And no, that's a big just part of life. That's also a life lesson, learning that discernment. If anything you pray for discernment, especially for the people in your life. No, that's such a good point. For you, I mean, also kind of the last point with this connection around you, how important, because you mentioned you have a mentor. I think a lot of people, especially as we get older, we don't think that that's necessary. How important is that mentorship still in your career and your life in general?
Just to be clear, I have a mentor in everything. Like I have a mentor in poetry life, I have a mentor for work, and I have a therapist, and I have a woman who did therapy for 20 years, who is now married, and who I believe has an amazing life. I think that sometimes we as people, especially as Black and brown people, sometimes we feel like, oh, I just got to pave the way and get it out the dirt. That ain't me. I'm not to say I'm not going to work my hardest and make sure I get stuff done. Absolutely. Everybody should do what they feel like is necessary. But there are people who have come before you who just know how it works, like who's been through life. And of course, nobody has been through the exact same thing that you've been through. But you can look at their life, look at it and be like, hey, you got some stuff figured out. Some stuff I just don't know about. Like, can you tell me a little bit? So
no, absolutely. Like you said, it's this idea of mentorship. Like a lot of people think you do have to work your booty off, get it out the mud, but it's really one of those things. Why? It's already been done. Most problems you've had probably have been faced before you. Why not seek out assistance and help? No, that's such a good point. Now tell me a bit, Shay. I mean, like you are the first Poetry Me Grand Slam champion.
Woo!
Tell me a bit about what that competition entailed and how you became the first to win that honor.
Oh, Rush is going to laugh at this story because I'm gonna actually tell the real story, and he gonna look at me and go, "Wow." So shout out to Rush. Rush the poet. He runs Poetry Me Please. He's a phenomenal, amazing Black man. Is just doing everything that he can for the culture, for the space. They're performing in the Apollo again for the second year in a row. That is the first poetry platform to sell out the Apollo. So, I respect when respect is due. He is an amazing man. Poetry Me Please was a platform that I was like I wanted to get on so bad. And it seemed that I just kept missing when they released. I feel like I subscribed to it. And I'm very, if anybody knows me, I'm very humble. I am not one of those people that's just like, oh, I'm Shay the poet. I've come in the spot, put me on the mic. That's not me. I believe everybody should get their turn the way that they are supposed to. So I'm just like, okay, I just got to get the show. I just got to get to the show. And every time he had a show, it was like I was booked or I had something. I was just so frustrated. And I kept DMing Rush. Hey, can you just tell me when your next show is just in advance so I don't book a show? I just really want to come to your show. I DM'd him twice. Rush had left me on red. I was like, okay, whatever. But again, he's very successful. I'm pretty sure Rush don't even really check his DMs. But whatever. Of course, as a person, you feel away. And you're just like, oh my God, whatever. So you had to do a insert video. So you had to submit your video for Poetry Me Please. So that week of Poetry Me Please, I was actually scheduled to go out to Detroit. So I'm like, you know what? No, I'm an amazing poet. I'm gonna submit my video. I'm gonna get accepted. And after I get accepted, I'm gonna tell that man no. And that was definitely my mindset. And I got accepted. I was in the top 10. I was super excited. And my in Detroit, the owner or something had caught COVID. So I couldn't go out to Detroit. So I was like, all right, whatever. And I'm a strong believer of higher power and I'm super spiritual. So I was just like, all right, I'm supposed to be there. Bet. No problem. I'm gonna go do what I'm supposed to do. Mind you though, I did not practice. I did not rehearse because I did not think I was gonna go. I found out 3 days before that I am now going. So I call my mentor, I call Smooth Baby. And I'm just like, what the hell am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? He's like, what? Rehearse. Shut up. You're fine. And I'm like, no. I'm not gonna be able to do it. And he's like, shut up. Just rehearse. You will be fine. I'm like, okay. Now I'm nervous because now I'm actually in a competition and in a slam that I've never been in. I've never done slam poetry before, never been in slam culture. So I'm petrified. So I get up there and in the final 3 are King Kamayeda, who I adore. If you don't know him, he's phenomenal. He's also from the Bronx. And Philip Alexander, who is from Connecticut. Amazing. We're in the final 3. We have to do our last poem. And I call Smooth and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And he's like, do the first time I hated my body. And I'm like, I only have 3 minutes. The poem is 4 minutes. I'm gonna mess up. And he's like, no. Relax. Do the first time I hated my body. You will be fine. If not, you'll at least come in second. Shut up. So I'm like, okay. So I'm running through it. And and I came in first place. And it's been amazing.
Yo, that is quite the wild story. Wow. That is quite the wild story. But then to have those results, how does that feel though, knowing that you went all through that and then coming in first? That's a testament to never ever doubt yourself. Just plunge, go straight for it. So what does that kind of honor now, that recognition feel like?
I'm poetry has built a different kind of confidence in me, and I am heavy bet on myself. If there is a room full of people, and I had to bet, I would bet on me twice. It doesn't matter who's in that room, who's in that space. And I think it's really just a testament to my journey. I've been with my mentor and heard like these big name poets and me be like, oh, I can't get up there. Like, I probably don't belong with them. And he's like, shut up. Like, do you know who you are? And again, it goes back to connections and just having people that genuinely believe in you. Like,
Yeah.
and there's been plenty of times where he like, listen, you may not be the best poet in space right now. And that's okay, because there will be people better than you. But he's like, listen, you're gonna perform your ass off. You want to make sure that when everything is said and done, you can say you left your heart out on that table. And whatever the score is, what the score is. But like, you know that you've done your best. And I can honestly say, following that, I've yet to lose.
Yeah, no, I love that. You're in such a confident space. You better yourself twice. Everyone needs to have that same exact mentality. That's what's up. So tell me a bit about. I mean, so you seem like such an eclectic person, just open to so much, curious about so much. What is your inspiration for your writing and your poetry? What is your inspiration to create your words come from?
Oh, this is a great question. And I probably should have read through all them questions, because this one is a little deeper. I used to only be able to write in a space when I was hurt. Which kind of got me to stray away from poetry for a little while.
Wow.
Because I don't want to feel that. Definitely I went through a lot of deaths in my life. I went through just things like my mentor got really sick and was in the hospital for a little while. Like, I just went through so much traumatic stuff, and I was pulling writing from that pain. And I was like, oh, this is saving me. This is saving me. Like, it's making me so much better. And I've also been in therapy for 4 years. So until one day, my therapist was like, are you being saved or are you reliving?
Wow. Deep.
And right. And I was like, what? And then she was like, is this saving you or are you reliving something and then desensitizing yourself to it every time you relive it?
Wow.
So now you feel better. And I was like, I don't know, and she was like, think about it. Are you still actually facing the same pain? Are you going through the same thing? Is it the same heartbreak? And it was. My uncle passed away in 2019. I was still waking up like crying randomly. I would be perfectly fine, go to work, be normal. And then I would not be. And it took me a while. It took me like 6 months it took me like 9 months and I just stopped writing.
Yeah.
As a whole, I told myself, like, I was like, if I can't write and be happy, I'll give it up. And I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed a lot because I actually didn't know who I was without writing. So I was just like, wow, like, do I get this kind of talent only when I'm sad? Do I get this talent only when I'm broken? Like, does this make me? And then one day I sat down and I said, okay, no, you get inspiration when you're sad. Yes, but you have to figure out how to manage your time better. Sit down with a poem and give yourself 30 minutes. Turn off the TV, turn off the sound, stay in your room, read it over and over and over and over till you come up with a new line, or write 10 lines, see where it gets you. And slowly but surely, I had became confident in writing again. It definitely took some time. I definitely felt like I wrote a lot of shitty poems. But like you get there. You have to be able to balance through those feelings and those emotions and still feel like, oh, this is okay.
Yo, man, you dropped some gems there. That's such a true thing, though, being able to sit in your emotions, being able to truly sit and find that balance and really like what I took from what you're saying is you have to acknowledge first and foremost the space that you actually were in. And I think that that's probably the hardest part, that it's difficult to even acknowledge what's happening with you. So tell us a bit. So it seems like, what is that connection for you that like you said, writing, it seems like writing almost has saved your life in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
That you didn't know who you were without writing. Tell us about if you could even articulate, what is that connection you have to writing?
I have such a love. I actually even have a poem about like me being in this very toxic relationship with somebody who I love so much and like abuses me and tells me that like I can't exist without them. And like the whole poem, it just feels like a toxic relationship. And then at the end of the poem, it's me and poetry. And that relationship has changed tremendously because I think that like the connection for me is I'm allowed to sit in my feelings. I am allowed to release. But I think that poetry for me has always just been processing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need to acknowledge what I'm going through, and then I just need to process. Like, what does this look like? What does this feel like? What if I lived in my perfect world, how would I have fixed it? And I think it allowed me to cope. And like that is my way of coping and like living in this world that's almost like a fantasy. Like you being your own narrator there is a lot of truth to it because you are your own narrator in a lot of sensitive ways, but you also aren't sometimes. You know, there's external circumstances, there's life, there's things that you cannot control. But I think in poetry, it was a sense of control for me.
Oh, that's so profound and that's so deep. It's oh man, yeah. You know, when you are the poet, you are the narrator, right? Outside of like our just brains and everyday dialogue, when you control such the narrative, like you're the creator, right? I
Yeah.
think that's so deep. It's like you're the you're the narrator of the story and it's your own world that you're creating. No, that's so profound and very deep. I would love to read that poem that you have of the abusive relationship and the abuser, I guess, is poetry, as you described. That's such a, oh man, that's so metaphorical. Oh wow, that's some stuff right there for sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, Shay, tell us, when was there like a pivotal moment in your life that you just knew I'm a writer? Was there a moment that hit you, a moment, experience that happened where you knew, all right, I'm a writer, that this is it?
I think I have two. I think my first one was my uncle passed away in 2019. I had started writing in like 2018, and like he was always just like, oh my God, I was still a little shy, still like I wasn't getting like features or anything. So I wasn't just inviting my uncle out to poetry shows. And he used to get so frustrated and just be like, just tell me when your next show is. Like wherever you think you're gonna perform, I'm gonna be there. And he passed away before he got to see me write.
Wow.
But it was very funny because one of our last conversations actually on the day that he passed away was, you're doing something great and don't stop.
My God, wow.
So I said, all right, well, I guess I'm a writer now. Like if it's one thing I'm gonna do this. And then my next moment for me was like my grandma who passed away that next year. But like when she got sick, I had my first show in Atlanta. Like my first, they flew me out, paid for it, and I wasn't gonna go. Right. Beautiful. And I wasn't gonna go. It's like I can't go because my grandma's sick. And like I can't miss any moment with my grandma. And one of my best friends, Kevin, we've been best friends since 5th grade, was like, hey, I hear everything you're saying, I hear what you're going through. But you gonna stay here and do what?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You're not the doctor. You cannot, if it's anything we know, your grandma wants you to go. Let's go. So I was like, all right, cool. Bet. Packed all my stuff, went to Atlanta. The first day I got to Atlanta, my grandma calls me and she's just like, hey, just want to talk to you real quick. So I'm like, yup. I'm telling Kevin we're at breakfast. I'm like, yeah, time out. Gotta talk to my grandma. He's like, cool. We go outside. And my grandma's like, yo, I know that you don't know this yet, but like I talked to God about you and he knows you're going to be successful. Just real calm. And I was like, Grandma, what you mean? And she like, no, just listen. And we talked for about 15 minutes. And then she was just like, I know, I want you to know I'm proud of you. I want you to know I'm proud of everything that you're doing. And this is what you're meant to do. I talked to God about it. This is for sure. And best believe, I came home from Atlanta. They was during COVID time. So, you had to get a COVID test before you went to the hospital. Gotta make sure, whatever. I called my grandma that day. She didn't pick up. Cool, we cool. And then the next day, my grandma passed away.
Wow.
Oh, I started. I was a writer.
Yeah. Wow. No, I mean, Well, first and foremost, my condolences, but that is, if that's not a sign,
Yeah.
I don't know what else that sign would be. No, so there y'all have it. No, that's very powerful. That very, very powerful. All right, Shay. So the last question we have for you on the Poet Speaks podcast today, Shay, tell me, why do you need to get your words out?
I need to inspire anyone that I can speak to that your voice is important.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what circumstance you're in, no matter what you've been through, whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you're right in the middle, whether you're just figuring out life. Everybody is chosen. Everybody has a voice. And what you choose to do with it is on you. But if you ever just needed some inspiration to just get it off, I hope that I am that.
Or absolutely. There we go, y'all. There we go. That's why Shay the Poet needs to get her words out. All right, Shay, a big thank you to you. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Now, before we end, and you got to tell us, we're ending out 2024. What is the rest of the year looking like for you, and anything you want to tell the folks about to look forward to for your amazing work in 2025? And tell us, drop any social media websites so folks can go check out, keep up with all the stuff you're doing.
So I am pushing for March for me to have merch out. Nice. Just merch, okay? The book is going to come hopefully by my birthday, which is May 9th, but merch for sure. Something that you could buy that just says, guys, I'm Shay the Poet. I love that. Our Voices in Power is having a show December 12th in Brooklyn. Please come. I will be spitting a poem, which I haven't done in like 5 months. And the feature is Obi West. If you don't know Obi West, he's a legend. He's phenomenal. He's an amazing storyteller. He is chef's kiss, and I'm so happy that he is going to grace the stage that I am on. And also Voices in Power is doing a tour around the world. That's going to be pretty cool. And I know that they're going to Denver soon. I will also be there, so I hope to meet all my Denver friends. And that's it. Like, I will be, I hope to start writing workshops next year. So people can just join me for writing workshops. Everything is on Shay.thepoet on Instagram. And that's it.
Perfect. All right. Big thank you to Shay. Everyone, all of Shay's links for her Instagram will be down below in the description box, no matter what platform you listen to the Poet Speaks podcast on. All right, Shay, again, thank you so much for being an amazing guest on the Poet Speaks podcast.
Thank you for being an amazing host.
Hey, absolutely, absolutely. All right, again, everyone, check out all of Shay's amazing work. Again, her details will be in the detail box down below. Everyone, this is the Poet Speaks podcast. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.